She's standing across the room at the party, and there's something magnetic about how she moves through conversations, not desperate for attention, but somehow always at the centre of it. Men gravitate toward her naturally, and she handles their interest with a practiced ease that's impressive to watch. You finally get introduced, and within minutes she's made you feel like the most interesting person she's talked to all night. She asks the right questions, laughs at the right moments, and somehow manages to create the feeling that you two have some special connection that nobody else in the room could understand. But there's something underneath the surface, a skill level that feels almost professional. The way she reads your reactions, adjusts her responses, and navigates intimate topics with zero awkwardness. It's like watching someone who's done this exact dance many times before. Most men interpret this smoothness as confidence or natural chemistry. They assume they've stumbled onto something rare and special. What they're actually witnessing are refined techniques developed through extensive practice that most men never learn to recognize. Today I'm going to reveal the subtle signs that indicate a woman has been with many men. Because recognizing these behavioral patterns could save you from investing years of your life into someone whose approach to love has been fundamentally shaped by experiences that make lasting connection nearly impossible. The biggest mistake men make is thinking that a woman who's immediately comfortable with physical and emotional intimacy is simply confident. What you're witnessing is emotional erosion from repeated intimate encounters that have worn away natural protective instincts. Healthy women have instinctive caution around new romantic connections. They need time to build trust, assess compatibility, and develop genuine comfort with vulnerability. This isn't shyness, it's normal psychological protection. When someone moves to deep intimacy without this natural progression, intimacy has become routine rather than special. Like a lock that's been forced open repeatedly, the protective mechanism no longer functions. Her comfort zone manifests in how easily she discusses personal topics, how quickly physical boundaries dissolve, and how naturally she navigates situations that should feel awkward with someone new. What feels like incredible chemistry is often muscle memory from extensive practice. You can't recreate the magic of genuine first with someone who has turned intimate moments into rehearsed performances. The danger lies in mistaking experienced execution for authentic connection. The opposite extreme appears in women who seem engaging but maintain impenetrable barriers around anything emotionally significant. You get the performance version of her personality while the real person remains completely inaccessible. These walls develop as defense mechanisms built through years of deep emotional investment followed by loss and disappointment. Each failed connection adds another layer of protection until genuine vulnerability becomes impossible. She gives you a guided tour of her surface personality while keeping every important emotional door locked. You learn about her preferences and daily life, but nothing about her fears, formative experiences, or genuine emotional needs. Conversation redirection becomes automatic when topics approach anything meaningful. Ask about childhood experiences and she changes subjects. Inquire about dreams or fears and she deflects with humor or switches focus back to you. This creates relationships where you're constantly giving more than receiving, investing in emotional connection that hits a predetermined ceiling regardless of time spent together or effort invested. You'll exhaust yourself trying to break through barriers specifically designed to prevent the connection you're seeking. Women with significant romantic histories often maintain complex networks of male attention that serve as constant validation sources and backup options for emotional security. Her minimal or strained female friendships combined with numerous close male relationships reveals priorities. These male connections include ex-partners who remain available for emotional support, and male friends who would pursue romance given opportunity. The network serves as emotional insurance where backup romantic options can be activated quickly if current relationships fail to provide adequate attention or support. You'll always compete with other male influences for her attention and emotional investment. Pay attention to how many men text her regularly, how many male friends she maintains from different life periods, and how defensive she becomes when you express discomfort about these connections. The network management reveals priorities that favor attention variety over emotional depth. One of the most manipulative patterns involves using physical and emotional intimacy as bargaining chips, rather than expressions of genuine connection and affection. Watch the timing carefully. Intimacy increases when she wants something, and decreases when tensions arise or when she's dissatisfied with your behavior. When intimacy becomes currency, Love becomes business with clearly defined exchange rates. During conflicts, intimacy is the first thing withdrawn. When she needs to smooth things over or reward desired behaviour, intimacy flows freely again. This transactional dynamic prevents authentic emotional bonds because intimacy serves strategic purposes rather than expressing genuine feelings. You'll feel like you're earning affection through performance rather than receiving love based on who you are. The exchange creates anxiety where you constantly monitor your behaviour to ensure continued access to intimacy rather than feeling secure in unconditional mutual attraction. Some women develop sophisticated understanding of masculine psychology, not through genuine empathy, but through systematic observation of what triggers male emotional responses and maintains male investment. She seems to understand men perfectly from the first meeting, demonstrating intuitive knowledge that feels like soulmate connection, but is actually applied behavioural science. She knows exactly which psychological buttons produce desired male behaviours. This includes creating artificial emotional volatility that triggers your rescue instincts, providing intermittent reinforcement that creates addiction-like attachment, and managing emotional experiences to maintain optimal investment levels from you. Men mistake this emotional management for passion and confuse manipulated emotional intensity with genuine, deep connection. Genuine understanding develops over time through mutual vulnerability, while this laboratory understanding comes from systematic exploitation of predictable psychological patterns. If you're starting to recognize these patterns in your own dating experiences and want to understand how to protect yourself from manipulative relationship dynamics, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. The signs I'm revealing operate below conscious awareness, but understanding them could prevent years of emotional investment in relationships designed to benefit someone else. Women who have been with many men often lose natural discretion about intimate details, treating private moments as casual conversation topics rather than recognizing the personal nature of such experiences. She tells stories about past relationships like recounting weekend activities. When intimate experiences happen frequently enough, they lose their special significance and become routine topics that don't require careful handling. Notice how defensive she becomes when you express discomfort about her oversharing. She flips concerns back on you as insecurity rather than recognizing legitimate expectations for discretion about private matters. This boundary erosion means your private moments may become stories for her friends or future partners. Healthy women understand instinctively that intimate details deserve protection, while extensive experience erodes this protective instinct through repetition and normalization. The same casual attitude she shows toward past relationships' private details will likely apply to your private moments together. Sacred experiences become casual anecdotes when discretion instincts have been worn away. Perhaps the most revealing indicator involves histories of relationships that follow identical trajectories, regardless of different partners and circumstances. Every relationship follows the same arc: intense initial attraction, rapid escalation, early peak intensity, and predictable rapid collapse within similar timeframes. Each story centers on external factors rather than examining personal contributions to consistent outcomes. This reveals addiction to novelty and early intensity, the excitement of new attraction, constant communication, and the rush of being desired by someone new. She's untested in the parts of love that create lasting partnerships, working through mundane periods, maintaining attraction through routine, building connection during conflicts. External blame attribution prevents personal growth because problems are always located in factors beyond her control. She never develops responsibility for outcomes, making it impossible to learn from experience or make adjustments that could create different results. You'll believe your connection is different because early intensity feels special, not recognizing that identical intensity preceded every previous failure. The archive indicates fundamental misunderstanding of what creates lasting relationships versus exciting beginnings. Modern dating reveals another crucial indicator through social media behavior designed to generate maximum male attention from multiple sources simultaneously. She maintains active presence, strategically posting content that invites male response, photos that trigger compliments, stories that create emotional intrigue, and content that keeps numerous men engaged in ongoing digital relationships. You'll compete not just with her real-world male network, but with dozens of digital connections providing constant validation alternatives. Her emotional dependency on likes and comments for self-worth reveals priorities that favour broad attention over deep connection. Watch for inability to go extended periods without social media engagement and continuous need for new male attention sources. The validation addiction reveals external dependency rather than internal satisfaction with exclusive romantic dynamics. Repeated cycles of emotional investment followed by disappointment create protective mechanisms that limit how deeply someone can bond with new partners, regardless of their quality. Emotional investment capacity operates like a muscle that atrophies through misuse. Extensive short-term relationships that never require deep commitment create inability to access deeper emotional connection when appropriate. She mistakes intensity for depth, confusing emotional volatility and dramatic experiences with the steady, growing emotional bond that characterizes healthy, long-term partnerships. You'll feel like you're hitting an invisible ceiling in emotional intimacy regardless of your efforts. These capacity limitations aren't personal inadequacies on your part, they're psychological protection mechanisms developed through extensive experience that compromised her ability to form deep bonds. Some women develop sophisticated disguises for commitment avoidance that make their inability to bond deeply appear like healthy independence or selective standards. She maintains that she hasn't found the right person, while consistently finding reasons to avoid deeper commitment with men who meet her stated criteria and demonstrate genuine partner potential. Elaborate standards and requirements seem reasonable, but function as moving goalposts ensuring no one can ever qualify for serious consideration. She presents herself as relationship-oriented while behavior patterns reveal systematic avoidance of vulnerability and compromise. Past trauma becomes permanent justification for avoiding present depth, treating healing as an ongoing process that never reaches completion and readiness for commitment. You'll feel like you're constantly auditioning for a role that doesn't actually exist. Extensive short-term history often creates deficits in specific skills required for partnership maintenance and conflict resolution that only develop through sustained committed relationships. She excels at beginnings, creating attraction, generating excitement, establishing initial connection, while lacking skills for maintenance and development through challenging periods. Skills deficits include inability to handle normal conflicts without threats of leaving, unwillingness to compromise preferences for harmony, and lack of experience working through difficult periods that strengthen rather than weaken partnerships. Financial cooperation, domestic partnership, family planning, and other practical aspects of long-term relationships require different capabilities than dating and early romance management. The deficit creates relationships that feel unstable because they lack skills foundation necessary for sustainable partnerships. Women with extensive experience often develop comparison shopping approaches that treat partnerships like consumer decisions rather than mutual investment in shared growth. Constant evaluation of current partners against past experiences, potential alternatives, and idealized standards prevents full commitment to present development. You're always being measured against other options rather than appreciated for unique qualities. Mental scorecards of satisfaction and continuous awareness of dating market alternatives treat partnership as ongoing audition rather than committed investment in mutual growth. Shopping mentality prevents gratitude and appreciation because current partners are evaluated against alternatives. You'll feel insecure and temporary because you sense continuous evaluation for replacement, rather than being valued as a committed partner. Comparison mindset reveals approach that prioritizes individual satisfaction over mutual investment. Some women develop systematic approaches to intimacy timing that reveal transactional rather than spontaneous approaches to physical and emotional connection. Intimacy follows predictable schedules based on relationship maintenance needs rather than flowing naturally from mutual attraction. She uses intimacy to smooth conflicts, reward desired behavior, maintain your interest during difficult periods, and manage dynamics for optimal stability. Protocol-based intimacy feels different from genuine desire because it serves management purposes rather than expressing authentic attraction. You'll sense that intimacy feels scheduled or strategic rather than spontaneous and genuine. Natural intimacy rhythms develop based on mutual desire, while strategic intimacy serves predetermined maintenance requirements that have nothing to do with authentic attraction and connection. Women with extensive histories often expect men to provide all emotional labor, while they provide mainly physical presence and basic companionship. She expects you to understand her emotional needs without explicit communication while showing no reciprocal understanding of your emotional needs. Emotional labor becomes one-sided, with you doing most of the work to maintain connection, resolve conflicts, and ensure satisfaction. You'll exhaust yourself providing emotional support while receiving minimal emotional investment in return. She expects tolerance for emotional volatility and relationship drama while providing stability and consistent support regardless of reciprocal treatment. The framework reveals relationship expectations fundamentally designed to benefit one partner while draining the other, creating unsustainable dynamics that lead to resentment and dissatisfaction. Women who have never sustained long-term relationships often lack capacity for genuine future planning and commitment to shared goals requiring sustained partnership over extended periods. She keeps relationships focused on present experiences while systematically avoiding discussions and decisions that require long-term commitment and shared planning. Future planning conversations get redirected or met with vague commitments that don't require specific actions. Inability to make shared financial decisions, coordinate life plans, or commit to major life changes requiring partnership cooperation reveals fundamental incompatibility with serious partnership building. You'll feel stuck in relationship limbo where things never progress to serious commitment despite extended time investment and mutual compatibility. The avoidance prevents development beyond casual companionship because it sidesteps planning and commitment that transform dating into serious partnership building. All these indicators function as evidence left by extensive romantic experience that fundamentally shapes how someone approaches new connections and emotional investment. These behavioral patterns become automatic responses that operate independently of current partner quality or potential. They indicate directions that future relationships will likely follow based on established habits that have become ingrained through repetition. Pattern change requires conscious recognition of problematic behaviors, followed by deliberate effort to develop new responses. This happens rarely and only when someone decides to confront established patterns directly, rather than hoping love will somehow transform them. Too many men believe their love will create different outcomes, despite consistent evidence that established patterns tend to repeat regardless of partner quality or good intentions. Understanding these signs allows informed decisions about where to invest emotional resources based on behavioral evidence, rather than attraction, intensity, or wishful thinking about potential transformation. Early recognition protects you from extensive emotional investment in relationships likely to follow predictable problematic trajectories. This isn't about judging women harshly, but recognizing when someone's approach is incompatible with your goals. Trust your instincts when something feels off rather than dismissing uncomfortable feelings because you want to believe in special connection. Maintain your standards as non-negotiable requirements rather than flexible preferences. Your emotional well-being and relationship goals deserve priority over attempting to transform people whose patterns indicate fundamental incompatibility with your values and expectations. People generally continue behaving in ways they have always behaved unless they have done significant personal work to identify and change problematic patterns. Hope becomes dangerous when it prevents recognition of incompatible approaches that will create predictable conflicts. Accept that people's histories indicate capacity for the kind of partnership you want to build, rather than hoping for transformation. Your standards are valid and deserve protection rather than adjustment to accommodate someone whose approach conflicts with your goals. Make reality-based decisions that protect emotional resources and time investment for relationships with people whose patterns indicate genuine compatibility with your relationship values rather than hoping to change established behavioral frameworks. Women with extensive romantic histories often test financial boundaries early in relationships to assess how much resources and investment they can extract from new partners. Watch for subtle suggestions about expensive dates, comments about financial struggles that invite assistance, or casual mentions of desired items that create pressure for gift-giving. These tests escalate gradually. First small favors, then larger requests, then expectation of ongoing financial support. She might mention rent difficulties just before payment is due, discuss car problems when you're developing emotional attachment, or express interest in expensive experiences during peak bonding moments. The timing isn't coincidental. Pay attention to her reaction when you don't immediately offer financial assistance. Does she become cold, disappointed, or passive-aggressive? This reveals whether she's genuinely sharing concerns or strategically fishing for financial support. Financial boundary testing also includes observing her spending habits versus her requests for assistance. Women who claim financial hardship while maintaining expensive lifestyle habits or purchases may be compartmentalizing financial responsibility in ways that serve their immediate desires. The testing determines your willingness to provide resources without reciprocal contribution, establishing whether the relationship will function as partnership or financial extraction system disguised as romance. Women accustomed to extensive male attention often have lifestyle maintenance requirements that depend on continuous male resources and energy investment from multiple sources. Her social life requires constant male participation. Men who drive her places, provide emotional support, offer practical assistance, and supply entertainment and validation. You become part of a rotation rather than exclusive partner. Notice whether her independence is authentic or whether she depends heavily on male friends and romantic interest to maintain her daily functionality. True independence means handling practical matters without requiring male rescue missions. Lifestyle maintenance also includes emotional dependency on male validation for decision-making, self-esteem, and daily motivation. She may seem confident but requires constant male reassurance and attention to maintain psychological stability. The maintenance requirements extend to professional and social environments, where she cultivates male supporters who provide advantages, opportunities, and resources that she couldn't access independently. This reveals strategic relationship building rather than authentic connection. When these support systems are threatened or unavailable, you'll witness dramatic personality changes, emotional instability, or crisis situations that require immediate male intervention and resource allocation. Women with significant relationship experience often develop sophisticated story management skills that present their past in carefully curated ways designed to minimize concerns while maintaining attractiveness. 26. Listen carefully to how she tells stories about past relationships. Details that make her look bad get minimized or omitted entirely. Partners are described in ways that justify relationship failures while positioning her as the reasonable party. Narrative control includes strategic timing of information sharing. Revealing certain details only after emotional investment makes leaving feel costly, or spacing out concerning information so patterns become harder to recognize. Watch for inconsistencies in stories told at different times. Memory doesn't usually change facts, but narrative management changes details based on what serves current relationship goals and impression management needs. She may preemptively address obvious concerns with prepared explanations that sound reasonable, but don't actually address underlying pattern recognition. These explanations often include psychological language that makes skepticism seem judgmental. 27th. Story management also includes selective sharing, highlighting relationship experiences that make her seem desirable, while burying experiences that reveal problematic patterns or concerning behavioral history. The sophistication of narrative control indicates level of conscious awareness about managing impressions, rather than authentic sharing designed to build genuine understanding and intimacy. Some women create artificial crises and emotional drama to maintain high levels of attention and emotional investment from male partners who confuse chaos with passion. Crisis manufacturing includes timing emergencies to coincide with periods when your attention might be elsewhere, during important work projects, social commitments, or when you're developing independence that threatens her control. 28. These crises often require immediate emotional support, problem-solving assistance, or resource allocation that reinforces your role as her primary emotional caretaker and problem solver. The drama serves strategic purposes rather than representing genuine life difficulties. Notice patterns in crisis timing and escalation. Do emergencies happen when she feels your attention drifting? Do problems intensify when you assert boundaries or independence? Do crises resolve quickly once you've provided required attention and resources? Drama creation also includes relationship conflicts that seem to emerge from nowhere during peaceful periods, creating artificial intensity that gets mistaken for passion and deep connection. Healthy relationships don't require constant crisis management. The manufacturing reveals priorities that favor emotional intensity over stability and attention extraction over mutual peace and happiness. You become crisis management specialist rather than romantic partner. 29. Women with extensive sexual histories often use specific normalization tactics designed to make concerning patterns seem ordinary and acceptable while preventing deeper investigation. She presents her sexual past as normal exploration that everyone engages in. positioning any concerns as prudish, insecure, or outdated thinking that reveals your inadequacy rather than her concerning patterns. Normalization includes using cultural arguments about sexual freedom and modern dating to shut down legitimate questions about compatibility and values, alignment regarding physical intimacy and relationship boundaries. Watch for deflection tactics when specific questions arise about numbers, contexts, or circumstances of past intimate encounters. Healthy people can discuss their past honestly without becoming defensive or attacking the questioner. 30. She may compare her history to friends or cultural norms to suggest that extensive experience is typical and expected, making you feel abnormal for having concerns about behavioral patterns that indicate incompatibility. Normalization also includes minimizing significance of past encounters by describing them as meaningless or unimportant, while simultaneously defending her right to have had them without judgment or consequence. The tactics reveal awareness that her history might create concerns combined with strategic communication, designed to prevent those concerns from affecting current relationship potential. Women with extensive male attention often display territorial behavior toward other women who might compete for male resources and validation that they depend on for emotional stability. She subtly undermines other women through backhanded compliments, strategic exclusion from social situations, or casual comments designed to reduce their perceived attractiveness and desirability to men. Territorial behavior also includes monitoring your interactions with other women, expressing concern about female friends or colleagues, and creating situations where other women feel unwelcome in social contexts she controls. Notice how she speaks about female co-workers, your female friends, or women in your family. Does she find reasons to dislike or criticize women who have positive influence in your life? Does she discover problems with women who provide alternative perspectives? The territoriality extends to social media surveillance and passive-aggressive responses to your interactions with other women, even in professional or family contexts that pose no romantic threat. This reveals insecurity about competition combined with strategic behavior, designed to eliminate alternative female influences that might provide different perspectives on her behavior or relationship approach. Understanding how to recognize extensive romantic history isn't about being harsh about past experiences. It's about making informed decisions based on behavioral patterns rather than wishful thinking about what relationships could become. The right woman will have a history that indicates capacity for the kind of exclusive, emotionally intimate partnership you want to build, rather than patterns that conflict with those goals. Recognizing these signs early protects you from investing years in relationships that follow predictable patterns, while allowing you to focus energy on connections with genuine potential for lasting success. If this analysis has helped you recognize patterns in your own dating experiences, subscribe to this channel for more insights into relationship dynamics and dating strategy. Share this video with any man who might benefit from understanding these crucial indicators. Remember that protecting your standards and emotional investment is essential for building the kind of relationship you actually want, rather than accepting whatever feels temporarily exciting.